Hey, what's up there, YouTubers? It's me again, Brian, aka Gamer55551. And although this video will probably be up on Saturday, since I'm recording this on April 1st, happy April Fool's Day, though. Hopefully, some of the pranks that were played on you were tasteful or not inappropriate, though. And obviously, several gaming sites are probably going to put up some April Fool's stuff that some of it you could see probably coming a mile away, and some of it sounds like it's too good to be true. But anyway, we have 4 stories to talk about, including the fate of E3 2022. Apparently, Project Spartacus has now been referred to as PS Plus, though. Delay has hit Breath of the Wild 2, or whatever the sequel to Breath of the Wild is going to be called. And a interesting rumor about the possibility that Call of Duty could come to the Nintendo Switch. If you're interested in where I got the source of my information, or where and all links will be in the description of this video, so you're watching this on YouTube. But before we get started, I would like to do what I like to call the quick my 2 cents. Stories that kind of caught my attention, but I'm not going to go into a huge amount of details. The first one is that reportedly that Activision Blizzard has reached a settlement for $18 million over one of their sexual harassment lawsuits. Obviously, they probably want this whole story to go away as soon as possible, though, but unfortunately there are several other lawsuits that basically Activision Blizzard is facing at this time, though. It'll be interesting to see what happens once the whole Microsoft acquiring Activision Blizzard, once that dust to settle, and assuming everything goes through, how they will handle the baggage that Activision Blizzard has been dealing with lately in terms of the sexual harassment lawsuits that they are facing right now. We also learned that Chrono Cross will be getting a physical edition, though. We'll be getting a physical edition coming to Asia that will have English language, which that probably means more than likely, though, that if you go to Play Asia a lot, you'll probably be able to pick up the physical edition. So that certainly it's nice to learn that, especially for those who are eyeing for a physical edition of Chrono Cross, though, for their Nintendo Switch. We also learned that one of the former Nintendo Minute co-hosts has criticized basically Nintendo's handling of their Switch online service and should reconsider it, though. So obviously, it sounds like this person was not a fan of Nintendo's online service, which, I mean, it's not. I won't say I'm disappointed with it, but obviously not. There are people who feel like Nintendo could do more with it, though, and I kind of agree to some extent. There are probably some areas Nintendo could do to improve their online service, though. Interestingly enough, though, several games have just came over to the Switch's online service, 2 for the NES, 1 for the Super Nintendo, though. I believe it's Dig Dig, Marlow Police, if I'm saying the name correctly, and of course Earthworm Jim 2. Out of those 3, though, Earthworm Jim 2 is certainly for me. I remember renting that game and enjoying that game on the Super Nintendo, though, although I'm a little surprised they didn't bring over the first Earthworm Jim. I'm kind of surprised by that to a certain degree. Then again, they did that with Joe and Mac. They brought over Joe and Mac 2 before they brought over the original Joe and Mac. We also learned that the director of the upcoming Sonic the Hedgehog 2 movie is thinking that they're planning to do a Sonic cinematic universe and all. We've seen studios done cinematic universes time again. Some have not succeeded as well as they have hoped for, others have not. Obviously, the king is the Marvel Cinematic Universe, to be exact. Whether they can pull it off or not remains to be seen. We know the reviews came in for Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and it sort of felt like the first one. If you liked the first one, you like this one. If you didn't, you probably won't. We know that there's a spin-off starring Knuckles that will be on Paramount Plus, so we'll see if they can pull off a Sonic Cinematic Universe, if Paramount and the director of the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 could do that. We also learned that Sony has filed trademarks for Knack, though. It's unclear if this is just basically a repackage of Knack 1 and 2, or if a Knack 3 is going to happen, though. Personally, despite all the hate Knack has gotten, though, I really didn't hate the game or anything like that. I mean, I'm not saying it was perfect, but I don't think it was as awful as the internet kind of made it sound like it is, though. But right now, it's just a trademark. We'll see if anything comes out of it, though. We also heard that there was apparently, supposedly, Resident Evil Village that appeared on a Game Pass tag, although now it seems to be although there are now reports coming out that that might have been an unfortunate error, which is kind of a disappointment, though, because it would have nice to see the Resident Evil games, especially the remake, excuse me, make their way over to Game Pass. That certainly would be nice, though. We also learned that Bethesda, Todd Howard, has come out saying that players are going to lose their mind over Starfield, which, while that sounds great and all, we've yet to see any gameplay, though. We've seen only a cinematic trailer and some teaser art, but no real gameplay mechanics, though. And given they kind of sort of said something similar with Fallout 76, we know how that turned out to be. So I'm approaching with some level of caution onto this one, to be exact, though. Don't get me wrong, I want Starfield to succeed. I hope it does, though, but Bethesda's really going to have to work hard to prove it. And until we start seeing some actual gameplay, though, I have my doubts about Todd Howard and Bethesda's comment about it. One silver lining regarding the Starfield is that it will be day one on Game Pass. So at the very least, if the game turned out to be actually good, I might buy it. I get a discount because I'm part of Game Pass. But if it turns out to be bad, hey, I could delete it, and then that's it. I could just move on from there. I just saved myself some money, though. We also learned that Bandai Namco has announced a One Piece Odyssey that's basically a entry into the One Piece series, but this time in a JRPG setting, though. I am very curious to see how this will all play out, to be exact, though. Right now, we only seen a cinematic trailer, and that is it, though. We know the game's coming to the coming to the PS4, PS5, PC via Steam, Epic Game Store, and Xbox One and Xbox Series S and X. No word if this will be on Game Pass at this time, so it's too early to tell if that will happen, though. But we've seen several titles from Bandai Namco that have made their way over to Game Pass before: Scarlet Nexus, Code Vein, and I think some of the Sword Art Online teams they've done have made their way over, so I can't rule out the possibility that One Piece Odyssey could make its way over to Game Pass. And in the non-gaming side, mostly in the movie side, though, we learned that Bruce Willis is, as of right now, has stepped away from acting or retiring over, supposedly he has he's suffering from what's called APAS HIA. I apologize, though. It has something to do with speaking, if I'm getting it correctly, though. It is unfortunate, though, because a lot of people know Bruce Willis for a lot of his roles that he has starred in, though. Some of the movies, like the Die Hard series that he's known for. I mean, to even something like, say, DC's Red and Red 2, though. But obviously, if this is very serious for him to step back from acting, though, then it's understandable, to be exact, though. And last but not least, though, we learned the Oscars are going to be doing an investigation over an incident that happened with Will Smith and Chris Rock. I'm sure most of you have seen online how supposedly Chris Rock may have said something, whether you thought it was inappropriate or not, everyone has a different opinion, that prompted Will Smith to come up the stage and slap Chris Rock across the face, though. There have been some backlash against Will Smith over this incident. There are those some have defended him, some have not, though, but it has certainly prompted an investigation, though, to the possibility of disciplinary action against Will Smith, though. We'll see how far this investigation goes, but yeah, that whole situation really blew up online, indeed, though. Okay, with the quick My 2 Cent part now done, we'll get started with our first story, and this one has to do with Call of Duty possibly coming to the Nintendo Switch, though. Now, Call of Duty has been one of Activision Blizzard's biggest moneymaker, though, but the series has also garnished some controversies, ranging from how all these studios are now focused on creating a Call of Duty game, to basically, how some people feel like developers have to copy Call of Duty because that's the most popular thing, to be exact, though. So there have been people who like the series, people who hate it, though. The last game, Call of Duty Vanguard, supposedly, although did well in terms of sales-wise, it did not do as well as obviously Activision Blizzard had hoped for, and the game got pretty much mixed reviews, to be exact though. There have been also numerous reports about the possibility of doing away with the yearly release of Call of Duty, something that I actually do agree with, to be exact though. But as far as being on Nintendo systems go, Call of Duty has had appeared on Nintendo systems before in the past. They've appeared on systems like the GameCube, all the way, to the Wii, the Wii U, though, with the last one being Call of Duty Ghosts. I mean, hell, even the DS got versions of Call of Duty, though, but it never appeared on the 3DS or even the Switch at this time. Switch, though, and it seems as though that might be changing soon, as it seems though that Activision Blizzard and possibly Microsoft, which could own Activision Blizzard soon, though, assuming all the deals go through and all, we could see the series possibly making its way to the Nintendo Switch in some capacity and in some form. In an article from Nintendo Life, though, it reads that, quote, last month, Microsoft President Brad Smith mentioned how the tech giant wants to bring the Call of Duty series to the Nintendo Switch not long after it's announced its plans to acquire Activision Blizzard for $68.7 billion. Now, his comments were basically, quote, we like to bring Call of Duty, to the Nintendo device. We like to bring it to other popular titles that Activision has and ensure that they continue to be available on PlayStation and that they become available on the Nintendo Switch, though. Continuing with the article, it says, with this in mind, there is now a rumor that Activision supposedly has plans to bring Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered to the Nintendo hybrid system. This will reportedly be the same remaster that launched on the PS4 and Xbox One in 2016, which was based off the original 2007 release Call of Duty Modern Warfare. This information comes from Call of Duty leaker Ralph Val, if I'm saying the name correctly. Here's exactly what they had to say. Quote, Activision is reportedly considering releasing remastered Call of Duty titles repurposed for newer consoles to fill in the empty space between premium Call of Duty titles. World at War, Call of Duty 1 and 2, backwards compatibility for Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare remasters are currently what's in conversation. Everything else was described by the associates as complicated. Addressing the confusion, MWR, Modern Warfare Remaster, is supposedly coming to the Nintendo Switch, its first introduction into the Call of Duty franchise for the console. Now, obviously, this is a rumor, so a grain of salt actually should be taken with this. That said, though, I certainly am not against these games coming to the Nintendo Switch. I think a lot of people do like some of the older Call of Duty titles, especially how some people may not be a fan of where the current series is heading, though. World at War would be nice. Black Ops 1 and 2 would definitely be nice, though, and I certainly wouldn't be against the remaster of Modern Warfare, or if they managed to bring Modern Warfare 2 and 3 over to the Nintendo Switch. I know they brought Modern Warfare 3 over to the Nintendo Wii, which was kind of odd considering they didn't bring Modern Warfare 2 over there, though. So it certainly would be nice if they do that. Whether there's a fan base for that or not, that remains to be seen, though. And if basically they decide to develop a new Call of Duty game and decide that the Switch can't handle it, though, one possible scenario that they could do is possibly develop one as a Switch-focused title or one exclusive for the Nintendo Switch or custom-made for the Switch. I mean, look at, say, Monster Hunter, for example. Monster Hunter World came out to the Xbox One and PS4 and PC, though, but skipped the Nintendo Switch, though. Instead, we got Monster Hunter Rise, which was developed for the Switch in mind, but eventually also made its way over to PC as well. Same with Monster Hunter Stories 2, though, Wings of Ruin, though. So it's possible they could take that route if they decide to bring a new Call of Duty game over, though. But I'm not opposed to the idea of some of these older Call of Duty titles coming to the Nintendo Switch. I mean, hell, I'm not against the idea if they decide to bring Warzone over to the Nintendo Switch. Whether there's an audience or not for that type of game, That remains to be seen, though. There may be some folks that do like Battle Royale games. There may be folks that don't. But we've seen several Battle Royale games make their way over to the Nintendo Switch, like Apex Legends to Fortnite, though. So I can't completely rule out the possibility they could bring Warzone over to the Nintendo Switch. But like anything, this is a rumor at this time, so we should take it with a grain of salt. But I will say, I'm not opposed to the Call of Duty games coming to the Nintendo Switch, even if I'm not a huge fan of it. So overall, certainly would be nice to see several Call of Duty titles come to the Nintendo Switch, even if they're the old ones. Wouldn't mind a remaster of Black Ops 1 and 2. That certainly was a fun title. Even World at War was certainly a fun title indeed, though. Whether this rumor turns out to be true or not, that remains to be seen at this time. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we'll get to part 2, and this one has to do with, apparently, Breath of the Wild 2, or the sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, has unfortunately been delayed. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 2 of my 2 cent video for this week. And for this one, we're going to be talking about Breath of the Wild 2, or the recent delay that has popped up for that title, though. In 2019, during Nintendo's E3 digital presentation, one of the games that they closed out was basically announcing that a sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 was in the works, though. This certainly, for a lot of us, this was definitely good news indeed. Otherwise, to a very good digital presentation that they had for 2019, to be exact, though. Breath of the Wild, I mean, the first one is considered, for me, my second favorite Zelda game. I still consider Majora's Mask my favorite, though. Some might consider that the black sheep of the Zelda series, but I definitely enjoy that title. But either way, Breath of the Wild was an enjoyable game, even with some of its faults. Not everyone was a fan of the weapon durations and all that stuff, but still a good game, nevertheless. And of course, the drips and drips of information have come out about Breath of the Wild 2, ranging from developers were inspired by games like Red Dead Redemption 2, to they had all these ideas for a DLC, but decided to push forward with a sequel, though. We've also seen, footage of the game here and there, giving us some clues, ranging from it taking place in the sky and all, to the recent tidbits, though, of showing what looked like the broken Master Sword being somewhat broken or damaged, to be exact, though. But as far as a release date, though, there was never really a concrete release date to a certain point until, I believe sometime last year, when they announced that 2022 was when they were going to bring the game over. Well, now it seems as though that's not happening anytime soon, as Nintendo has officially announced that the game will not be released in 2022, but it's now aiming for a spring 2023 release. In an article published on Nintendo Life and a lot of other places, to be exact, it reads that, quote, Nintendo has shared an update regarding The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. It's been delayed till 2023, originally scheduled for 2022 release, and reconfirmed for that launch window last month. Series boss Aulx, or if I'm saying his name correctly, presented a short update and apologized for fans who are suspected to play the game sometime this year. He goes on to mention again that the sequel sky-based gameplays and assure fans that the development team is hard at work at what is still officially called the sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I think it's going to be called something else, but that's my opinion on that. Anyway, he says, quote, in order to make the game's experience something special, the entire development team is continue to work digitally on this game, so please wait a while longer, though. The apology video featured a small snippet of new footage showing Link holding what looks like a Gnarly, or if I'm saying the name correctly, Master Sword 2, though. It's a blow to fans who might have hoped for hope to be playing the sequel to the celebrated original, which was released alongside the Switch 5 years ago on March 3rd, 2017. This holiday season, however, many Zelda fans would have been rightfully skeptical about the release date, as the series had a history of delays, though. Meanwhile, it's reported that supposedly the delay has saw Nintendo shares, their stock though, slump basically 6%. It says, quote, following the announcement, the company is pushing back the launch of the sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 from its previous 2022 release window to spring 2023. Nintendo shares dropped 6% in the Tokyo trading yesterday. As reported by Reuters, the slump comes after a 25% year-to-date climb, with Switch still selling strongly thanks to its strong software lineup and steady influx of new, well-received titles like Pokemon Legend Arceus in January, and more recently Kirby and the Forgotten Land, though. So, yeah, I mean, it's a drop. It's a drop on. However, I think it's somewhat like a drop in the bucket, though, and I'm sure Nintendo will recover from that drop, though, to be exact. Is it very disappointing to see that Breath of the Wild 2 has been delayed? Yes, I kind of do agree with that. It is very unfortunate to see that happen, though, but at the same time, I'm not really shocked or anything like that, though, to hear the fact that the game is going to be delayed. Nintendo has been known to delay some of their titles to try to iron out some areas, to be exact, though. My hope is that despite being delayed, though, that this will give the developers, enough time to finally, hopefully, launch the game out. But I also hope it doesn't fall into the pitfalls such as a development hell situation, or worse, the kind of situation we saw with games like, development hell, but the kind of situation we saw with games like Duke Nukem Forever and Alien Colonial Marines, how those games fell into development hell, and when they were finally released, they were not at par with what people had hoped for those titles, though. So hopefully that's the case. I have confidence that it probably won't be like that, but time will ultimately tell, though. One last thing about Breath of the Wild 2's being delayed, though, is that there is some speculation going around that many believe that one of the reasons delayed is to go in line with the launch of a new Nintendo Switch, probably a Switch 2 or a Switch Pro. Now, I could see where some of that thinking comes from, and there is some truth to that, to be exact. Back then, The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess was originally supposed to come out for the GameCube, but then delayed that, and they launched it not only on the GameCube, but acted as a launch title for the Nintendo Wii. We saw what happened with the first Breath of the Wild as a title for the Nintendo Wii, and then it got delayed and pushed to not only as a title for the Wii U, the Wii U to be exact, my apologies, but also for the Nintendo Switch. So it's definitely not out of the realm of possibility that Nintendo could be doing that, though. But I don't want to get ahead of myself and say that's going to happen or anything like that, because we've seen rumors about a Switch Lite, a Switch Pro or Switch 2 and all that stuff, and for over the years, and that nothing really materialized. Yeah, they did get right about the Switch OLED, but I'm not sure if that's going to be the case. It's a possibility. I can't rule it out, but I don't want to jump to any conclusion at this time, whether or not they're delaying it to release with a new Switch model or anything like that. So overall, very disappointed to see the game get delayed, but it's not surprising, though. And I'm pretty sure Nintendo will probably have a good lineup for 2022, though. We got Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Bayonetta 3, Splatoon 3, is a lot of 3s, though. Fire Emblem 3, Fire Emblem 3 Heroes, so yeah, a lot of 3s right there, and maybe some more surprises, though. So I'm sure there's going to be stuff to make up for the lack of Breath of the Wild 2 not being released this year. Hell, Nintendo could maybe port over Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD to the Nintendo Switch. That, I think, would be a great way to fill in that gap for those who were disappointed to hear about Breath of the Wild 2 being delayed. So, yeah, disappointed, but not really shocked by this announcement, though. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to part 3. And this one has to do with, we now know what Sony's Project Spartacus is. It's now being referred to as PlayStation Plus. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 3 of my 2 cent video for this week. And for this one, we're going to be taking a look at Project Spartacus, now known as PS Plus. Now, last year, though, it was announced that basically that Sony was working at to revamping, PlayStation Plus and all that stuff. And there were many speculations at the time, as some people were painting as this was going to compete against Xbox's Game Pass or be this Game Pass killer, as some have liked to refer to it, though. Well, recently this week, though, Sony unveiled their PlayStation Plus, which seems to be combining both PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now, though. And while there are some features that are kind of good, interesting that I like, and some features I think that are neat, I would stop short in really calling this the so-called Xbox killer, as some folks have decided to some folks out there decided to refer to it as. In a blog post posted by Sony on their website, they reads parts of it saying, quote, Today we are pleased to share with you the official news about changes coming to our subscription service. This June, we are bringing together PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now in an all-new PlayStation Plus subscription service that provides more choices to customers across 3 membership tiers globally. Our focus is to provide high-quality curtail content with diverse portfolio of games. They have the 3 tiers are a PlayStation Essential, which is provides the same benefits as PlayStation Plus members have, which is 2 monthly downloaded games, exclusive discount, cloud storage, online multiplayer access, though, with the option to do a monthly, quarterly, or yearly subscription, though. In the US, it's $10 a month, $25 quarterly, or $60 yearly, though. The PlayStation Plus Extra provides all the benefits from the Essential tiers, adds a category up to 400 of the most enjoyable PS4 and PS5 games, including blockbuster hits from our PlayStation Studios catalogs and third-party partners. Gaming's Extra tiers are downloadable for play. Here in the US, it's $15 monthly, $40 quarterly, and $100 yearly. And then it comes to the premium one, which is basically provides all the benefits from the Essential and Extra tiers, adds up to 340 additional games included, PS3 games available via cloud streaming, a catalog of beloved classic games available in both streaming and download options from the original PlayStation, PS2, and PSP generation, though, offers cloud streaming across from the original PS2, PlayStation, PS2, PSP, and PS4 games offered in the Extra and Premium tier in the market, where PlayStation Now is currently available. Customers can stream games using PS4 and PS5 consoles and PC. Time-limited game trials will also be offered in this tier, so customers can try selected games before they buy, though. In the US, it's $18 monthly, $50 quarterly, and $120 yearly. They also put out at the bottom the saying, quote, for markets without cloud streaming, PlayStation Plus Deluxe will be offered at a lower price compared to Premium and includes a category of beloved classics games from the original PS2, PlayStation, PS2, and PSP generations to download and play, along with time-limited game trials. Benefits from Essential and Extra tiers are also included. Local pricings will vary by market, though. So, I would say, after hearing it, though, my response to this is sort of mixed to a certain degree, though. The fact that they're going to offer original PlayStation, PS2, and PSP titles to download and all, it's certainly nice, especially since I was able to get a PS5, so that certainly is a nice thing indeed, though. So hopefully it means giving the choice between streaming or playing them natively, though. However, at the same time, though, I'm not happy with the fact that the PS3 is only cloud streaming, and unfortunately cloud streaming is far from perfect though, and a lot of that has to do with how solid your internet connection truly is. And if you don't have a great internet connection, that might be an issue though. And right now I don't think cloud gaming is essentially there yet though. I mean, it does have potential though. I think Google Stadia showed that the potential is certainly there, but there certainly has to be a lot of work to be done though. As far as this being the Game Pass killer, I really don't really see it as this Game Pass killer, and that has to do with a lot of, with the fact that basically they're not offering day one titles at launch though. They gave their reason how it would devalue their games, and some people may or may not agree with it though, but that is kind of a disappointment though. So I really do not see this as the Xbox killer, to be exact. And while it's nice that they're offering the classic titles though, if both natively or downloadable or streaming only outside the PS3, the two things I will say is, one, though, there's no Vita, so that's a little bit disappointed. And two, call me biased on this one, but I feel that Microsoft did a better job with backwards compatibility in terms of bringing games over, even offering a FPS boost. So we don't know what kind of titles they'll bring over from those generation, whether or not they will have any improvements like an FPS boost or anything like that. So my reaction to all this is very mixed. There are certain parts that I do like, and I think that's great, but I'm just don't see this as being the Xbox killer, Game Pass killer that some people were painting it to be. It's nothing compared to what Microsoft is offering with Game Pass though. So I mean, again, some of the classic titles look nice though. I think that's great, but I just don't see it like that though. And the reaction has been sort of mixed to the source though. Now, can it improve over time? Yes, it can improve over time. So I'm not saying that this service is going to fail or anything like that. And it is possible that, like I said, it could improve over time, though. I mean, Game Pass didn't get off to a great start when it launched, though, but over time it did improve. So it could this could happen to PlayStation Plus right now, but at the moment, though, the reaction is kind of mixed at this time. So overall, there's some things about it I like, some things I'm not a big fan of, like streaming PS3 games, though. But as far as this being the Game Pass killer that some have tried to paint it like that, I would say no. This is certainly not a Game Pass killer at all. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we'll get to our fourth and final part. And this one has to be that, unfortunately, it looks like E3 2022 is not happening. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with our fourth and final part of our My 2 Cent video. But before we get started, I forgot to mention this at the beginning, though, that there won't be any video review for this week, though. A lot of stuff some stuff has sort of popped up that I have to deal with over the weekend, though. I was able to do this My 2 Cent video, but I'm not going to have a video review for this week. I'm hoping next week, but we'll see after this week to see if hopefully things would be able to iron out, though. But anyway, we'll get started with part 4, and this one has to do with E3 2022. Now, E3 over the years has sort of kind of struggled a little bit, to be exact. It has what has been sort of an exciting event for gamers to look to see at the latest games that have been announced and all. It's also had struggle with a lot of other things, as some companies hold their own events to basically, doing like their own digital events, and it has sort of brought up the question of whether there should be an E3 or not, though. Then, of course, what happened in 2020 was when COVID hit, though, it really threw a lot of wrench at a lot of these events, though, and E3 unfortunately suffered from it as they had to delay that event, to be exact, though. Other companies had to delay also their event, to be exact. Last year, they tried to bring it back as a digital-only event, and that didn't exactly sit well with everyone out there, though. And so many people are wondering if E3 was going to happen this year, especially with COVID cases kind of dying down, at least for now, to be exact. But, well, it does sound like to be that isn't the case, and it does sound like E3 is not going to be happening at least this year. Next year, it looks like they're going to try to get a E3 event for next year, though. But in any case, in an article published on IGN and other sites too, it says that, quote, after previously canceling its in-person... Hold on one second. Okay, there we go. It's canceling its in-person E3 2022 event. The ESA has now informed its partners that there will be no digital event equivalent to this year, meaning E3 2022 has officially been canceled. The news broke via a tweet from Razer PR lead Will Powers, who said that an email has been sent out announcing that the cancellation of the digital E3 event. IGN has independently verified the content of this email as well. The ESA had initially planned for an in-person E3 event this year, after having no event in 2020 due to COVID-19 and a digital one in 2021. However, this was canceled in January, with the ESA at the time unable to make a public statement on whether or not there will be a digital equation, if I'm saying the name correctly. According to the source speaking at IGN, at the time, discussions around E3 had been fragile throughout the years, with third parties normally involved finding the ESA ongoing silence regarding their plans frustrated, though. Sources closest connected to the event tell IGN that discussions about a possible digital event had been ongoing ever since, but without strong momentum to drive them. Instead, the ESA seems to be making plans to regroup for a larger comeback in 2023. They also updated this with a statement from the ESA, and it says, let me get it up there. Okay. Quote, we will devote all our energy and resources to deliver a revitalized, probably I'm not saying the name correctly, physical and digital E3 experience next summer, whether enjoyed from the show floor or your favorite device. The 2023 showcase will bring the community, media, and industry back together in an all-new format and interactive experience. We look forward to presenting E3 to fans around the world live from Los Angeles in 2023. The ESA adds that the 2022 showcase has been canceled so the organizers can focus its resource on the 2023 show. And in an interesting timing by Jeff Geely, if I'm saying his name correctly, though, he sort of put out a tweet following this announcement for Summer Games Fest June 2022 by saying, quote, join us this June for Summer Game Fest, an industry-wide celebration of video games featuring a spectacular live kickoff show hosted by Jeff Geely, if I'm saying the name correctly, though. So the fact that E3 is not happening this year is somewhat disappointed, though. I know some people feel that this is the end of E3, but there are those who want it to come back, especially after when COVID hit. They wanted to see back, these in-person events, to be exact, though. But it does raise questions of, given, a lot of these companies doing their own digital event or digital presentation, sort of similar to what Nintendo's doing, is E3 needed or anything like that? And part of me doesn't want E3 to go away. Part of me, because it's part of like a gaming tradition. It's sort of for us gamers like a tradition. It's sort of like for us, it's kind of like to some degree, kind of like a birthday or a Christmas or a Hanukkah for that matter, to see all these announcements for what games are looking forward to coming out in the holidays or even possibly next year and all. And to hear it is sort of disappointed, though. I am hoping that they are able to come back and revamp it in a way and try to maybe modernize and improve in certain areas, though. It will be very interesting if they can do that, though. I know E3 certainly has been struggling, and COVID-19 really didn't exactly help the situation, though. But as we start returning to some form of normality, though, and hopefully we do it right, I do hope that that E3 comes back stronger than ever, though. It would be really sad to see E3 go and all that stuff. So I do hope E3 is able to make a comeback next year, and hopefully they can get it right, though. So overall, I'm very disappointed to see that E3 is being canceled this year, though. I'm hoping that next year they can come back stronger than ever. Hopefully they don't cancel next year's, though. So a lot could happen between now and June 2023 for E3 2023. So I'm hopeful this time it comes. Hopeful next year it does come back, though. But for this year, though, it is kind of disappointed to see that E3 is not happening this year. It's really unfortunate and sad, indeed, though. That, and I also like how Devolver Digital does their anti-E3 show, and although they've done it even without E3 not being there and all. Okay, this concludes this My 2 Cent video for this week, and again, these are my opinion. What are yours? What are your thoughts about the idea of Call of Duty could be coming to the Nintendo Switch? Are you open to that idea? Are you not open to that idea? Do you think they should remaster some of the older titles and bring them over to the Nintendo Switch? Or do you think they should bring some of the newer titles to the Nintendo Switch? And do you think a game like Warzone would be a good idea to bring to the Nintendo Switch if they could pull it off? What are your thoughts about Breath of the Wild 2 being delayed to next year? Are you disappointed by this? Are you not disappointed? Are you surprised? Not surprised, though? Do you think this is a sign that Nintendo could be launching Breath of the Wild 2 with a new Nintendo Switch? Or do you think some people are blowing that out of proportion? What are your thoughts about this revamped PS Plus, though? Do you like what Sony is offering? Do you not like what Sony's offering, though? Are you happy with seeing some classic titles from the PlayStation, PS2, and PSP make their way over? Are you okay with streaming PS3 games? Are you not okay with that? Do you see this as the Game Pass killer, or do you think people were blowing that way out of proportion? And what are your thoughts about E3 2022 being canceled this year? Are you disappointed by this announcement? Are you surprised? Not surprised? Do you think they'll come back? Do you think E3 2023 will happen? And do you think it will come back stronger than before? Do you agree with what I said in this video? Do you disagree? Do you have a difference of opinion? As always, sound off in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And if you do like this video, I hope you hit the like button. I would appreciate it. And I hope you do subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you do, make sure you hit the bell icon for notifications of any new videos I put up. Also, feel free to share this video if you want to. And feel free to donate to my channel if you like. You could do it through PayPal me or Patreon. Links will be in the description of this video, assuming you're watching this on YouTube. And I will see you again next time when I do another video. Hopefully that'll be soon. Until then, from Southern California, wish you all a good day then. Bye.